listening to The Mean Geek, comics podcasting on the very ragged, raw, leading edge of friggin' civility.
An absolute maniac. Wait, what did you just say to her?
My blogging brings the girls to the yard.
Oh, horrifying.
Yeah, but funny as fuck.
Are you ready?
Change from that mindset to this one.
Welcome to episode number 9 of The Mean Geek, comics podcasting on the edge of civility.
Welcome back to the edge of civility.
We're back in the Rev's apartment after a couple of on-location recordings. We're going to do another list, but first off, quick couple of things about our experiences of Free Comic Book Day.
I am your host.
I am your host, the TechJedi. And with me as always, except the last time, and he's shaking his head because I'm screwing things up, the Reverend Mad Duck.
Bless you, fuckers.
All right. So, Free Comic Book Day was rather incredible this year. I've never, in all my years, seen that many people in only 2 shops in one day. The same time, within hours of each other, each shop was totally full. We're talking about Kurt's Comics, of course.
Yep.
And
in Connecticut,
it's Kurt's. And Alternate Universe Milford. Didn't get a chance to get to the New Haven one, but Eric, thanks a lot. Here's your steady pimping. And also to the guys at Death Ray Weekly, another podcast hosted here in Connecticut, close associates of Eric over at Alternate Universe. We'd like to say, I dug your stuff. Go to town, baby. All right, you can find us through our RSS, iTunes, Podcast Alley, and hopefully pretty soon we're going to be proud members of the Comics Podcast Network and the League of Comic Book Podcasters. I could never say that again if I wanted to.
Everything my mom has dreamt of for me is coming true. She looked down at me as a small Irish alcoholic in a crib and said, "Someday I hope that you'll be a part of a large group of podcasters." And I looked up at her and went, "What the fuck is a podcaster?" Because I was born in the 70s.
Right. You totally got me off track. I don't know. Oh, you can find us of all the above methods, plus www.themeengeek.com. Don't forget to come by, give us a shout. For God's sake, let us know that there's a single person on this fucking planet who has heard this goddamn thing. There's been 400 downloads and no one has said shit.
That is true. We are shitless.
Having said that, we will get smack into our reviews. The Pile!
Don't forget, kids, we do have a comic book to give away, signed by us.
That's right. Punisher War Journal, The Return of Manucci by Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon.
Number 2?
Number 1.
Is it number 1?
It's number 1
it's
because
number 1.
Instead of putting 1, 2, and 3, I put 3 of number 1 in the computer.
Just remember, kids, signed by 2 guys that had absolutely nothing to do with the making
production
of the book.
of this comic book. But you can say, look at what these doofuses did for me. It's free, for God's sake. Just mail us. TheMeanerGeek@gmail.com. The Rev Mad Duck @yahoo.com.
Or
Kurt
Hotmail.com.
at kurtzcomics.com. Huh?
Or Hotmail.com.
That's right. RevMadDuck at Hotmail.com, which is probably more preferable because
I really don't check either.
Exactly right. So, doesn't really matter. So, the pile.
Back to the pile, which is large
It's
yet again.
huge this time because we skipped how many weeks?
2?
2 full weeks of no piles. So, Green Arrow, Black Canary, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
A follow-up to the Green Arrow, Black Canary wedding album that we had read earlier this year, about 2-3 podcasts ago.
Which we rather enjoyed tremendously, really.
And I'm enjoying where this is going. Didn't like it as much as the first one shot.
Right. But it's still tight. It's kind of irritating with Ollie being the bereaved father, but he needs to get off his ass and do something, and they finally convinced him to do that.
The weird British dude with the flying mace and the
He was a bit, woof.
It's
What
not
were
a
you
great
all
book.
about? No,
I like where it's going.
Diggable.
If I were buying issues on a regular basis, this book would definitely be near. Probably wouldn't be something I bought every time, but something I would catch up on if they were still around and I had extra money.
Right.
I like the way the book is going, but I don't love it. So,
Yeah. Well, at least they've kept Winnick for, let's see, July, 2 solid years now.
Winnick has been doing it for a while now.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy his writing. I totally enjoyed the Wedding album, and I will
A lot of fun.
eventually pick up other graphics in the series.
Chang is okay. I don't mind Chang.
Chang is a fun artist. The covers are excellent.
I really wish they'd go back to Amanda Connor, though, because she's got a light, airy, fun, clear, really nice art style I dig the hell out of.
Well, she's going to be doing the Power Girl book, which you're planning on picking up.
Exactly why I'm getting it. Is 90% of why I'm getting it.
Also, she draws large boobs, and Power Girl is all about large boobs.
And, being a fucking single comics podcaster, this is my cookie.
There you go.
Right, so we enjoyed those. Go give it a shot. Mighty Avengers 24. More Bova, more Loki, Doctor Doom, Vulcan.
No, this is post-Bova.
It is, isn't it? I'm flipping through it right now. I'm not even paying attention. Which tells you a lot about how much I love Pietro and therefore paid so much attention to the issue.
Yeah, Pietro rejoins the Avengers and no one cares.
That was pointless.
There's bugs everywhere.
U.S. Agent, which is kind of a bug.
The U.S. agent is a giant insect, except he's not.
It's like if Kafka wrote a comic book.
I do like Stature, though. She seems to be a reasonable character who's earnest in being a superhero.
I'm not familiar enough with the Young Avengers to really know her that well. I did like the way she was written in this. I like the way they're doing Hercules with the mixture of logical and fantastical.
Yes, Hercules was fun. Pym, however, still irritating me by being the Wasp.
And I really don't have time for Pietro and
Nobody's
Scarlet
ever
Witch.
had time for Pietro.
Hey, that's not true. You loved him, and I loved him, and most people loved him in Peter David's X Factor.
Was I reading that?
Yes.
When was that?
When you borrowed him from me.
Oh, those issues. Yes, when he explained that his entire life was like standing behind someone at an ATM.
Exactly.
Yes. That, I think of that, it's torn my worldview apart. I think of that goddamn thing every time I go to an ATM now. I was like, if I was a super mutant speedster, I'd be really irritated right now.
Well,
you know what? I'm an average Joe, and this fucker's trying to take over RJ Nabisco through the goddamn ATM. They need to read the screen and finish up.
That was the great thing about Peter David's run on that, is how well he humanized bizarre characters.
Right. He's got a habit of that. It's a lovely habit. It's very courteous to us readers.
But yeah, I'm Mighty Avengers is not doing a lot for me, I'll be honest.
Yeah. But New Avengers,
My
on the
favorite
other hand,
of the Avengers books.
52. I missed something crucial somewhere about Doctor Strange, and it's irritating me greatly. If someone can
why
tell
is he
me
passing on
why he's passing on the mantle of
'Cause he
Sorcerer
failed?
Supreme, apparently he used some kind of magic incorrectly to save the Avengers when he really shouldn't have, and now he's got to give up the mantle. And
Now, here's a question for you. Is the weird demon thing the magical character from Fury's Secret Avengers or Secret Warriors?
I really don't know.
Felt like him, though, didn't it?
A little bit, yeah. But I mean, the chase is good. I'm mostly digging the art, except in some panels I'm quite confused here and there. But it's always fun to see Madam Mask.
I love how Bendis writes Spider-Man. Him whining about stealing the Quinjet was awesome. It's an enjoyable book, and I like following it. But
Don't use D. It doesn't matter who she stole it from. Stealing is stealing. Yeah, sure. We're going to go get the bad guy. You coming or not? This is the kind of stuff that's going to bite us in the butt. Right in the butt.
I enjoy the writing of the book immensely.
That's totally Spider-Man.
The major problem the Avengers has for me is that it's so involved in the rest of the Marvel Universe that it can't knock itself out of the park as its own book. So
right, there's too many consequences and too many other things, and it can't rise above those other things because it has to interact with them so closely. But you know what? I really don't need Son of Satan and Patsy Walker arguing over the phone in the middle of an Eldritch ceremony. Son of Satan, there's a reason he doesn't have his own fucking book anymore.
He did, and when Ellis did
I said anymore.
I quite enjoyed Ellis's take on Son of Satan, much as I enjoyed Ellis's Druid for 4 issues.
I do like the idea of bullets flying toward Hellstrom, though, so there's that.
But say what you will, no one misses Patsy Walker.
No, nobody misses Hellcat. And the first person to email me and convince me that they sincerely miss Patsy Walker will get lambasted totally on the show, because I won't believe it for a second.
What a great contest, kids.
Justice League of America, number 32, Twilight of Dr. Light. What do we think of JLA in this issue?
You know what I really enjoyed with that is how they've built Black Canary into a major character.
Yes.
It's impressive. I like how they've taken minor characters and really made them intriguing. What they've done with Jon Stewart.
John's always been a kind of... He's
Floating
really
on
the
the
backup
edge.
Lantern. He's always had potential to some degree, but I don't think anybody's really gone to town on him and made him shine as an individual.
You know what? The best Jon Stewart thing I recall reading would be when Mignola's drawing him in Cosmic Odyssey. He kills a whole planet.
Way back then.
Yep. And I know there have been other stories of interest in between, but I'm not, as you know, a big Green Lantern fan, so...
But you're right, backing up. Canary has really stepped the fuck up to the plate. And she's going to town. She's like, I'm in charge. It's going to be my way. If you guys want to contribute, that's great. But here's what we're doing.
What I don't like is how Justice League is using Canary and Green Arrow separately from their own book without involving the two storylines.
Right. Because that just throws weird continuity questions out.
Yeah.
And it separates them as a pair when they should be bouncing off each other and having witty banter and all that kind of
Not
stuff.
even necessarily that, but if there's going to be if they're going to have an issue in one book, it should slightly carry over to the other.
Right.
I don't want it to totally interfere, but completely ignoring one book for the other is not great writing.
I do like Dr. Light's slightly superior attitude with Firestorm. That did amuse me. I gave a chuckle out.
God, I hate Firestorm. I do like what they're doing with the Shadow Thief, and I liked how they went back to Firestorm being slaughtered by the Shadow Thief.
Right.
So they are paying attention to other things. And Dr. Light is very similar to Dr. Light I've read before.
Right.
Zatanna and Vixen.
I'm a fan of Zatanna. I could give a shit about Vixen.
You're a fan of Zatanna's outfit.
I like Zatanna. Zatanna's full...
Bodied.
She's busy, but never precocious.
Sweet zombie Jesus.
Which is something we'll investigate next week when you read the free comic book day loot I picked up. You have no idea what you've stepped into.
Yay me.
So, they're going around... Starbreaker? Did they really have to bring Starbreaker back? I mean,
no.
we said several episodes ago that we do like the way that they are bringing back certain characters rather than trying to make up new ones and making them lame.
Yeah.
But Starbreaker? Really?
Now, what is Starbreaker from? Because I honestly
That's
did not
exactly
recognize
my point.
It's an older character, though?
It is an older character. He has been around a while, but it's been so long that nobody I know remembers shit about him.
Fair enough.
So it's a weird contrast, and I don't know if it's been part of her character forever, but Dr. Light's actually afraid of the dark?
I actually have read that before.
Yeah? Really? Yeah. Alright, well, you're one up on me again. So, that brings us to Thor 601.
I hate what they're doing in Thor.
Really? You don't like this at all?
Loki is Sif's body with Loki's hat.
Alright, the Sif's body thing irritated me.
Yeah,
I'm not going to debate that.
The hammer is broken, so Donald Blake is carrying around shards of his walking stick.
That he duct tapes together.
Yeah.
Previous to this issue, I was really, really happy with it.
This is the first Thor that you brought over for me to read, so this is my starting point with this book.
I like Doom. Doom is top 3 Marvel villains for me. He really is. Doom, he's just got the presence. He's got the sinister aspect, all that stuff. And the history, which is why it really fucking irritated me that he would admit having to use Wikipedia. And I assure you, finding good winkles this time of year is no easy feat. Especially
I'll give you that was lame.
Even I had no idea what a winkle was until I looked it up on Wikipedia. Doom would never fucking admit to. He would never admit to it.
I did like the use of Fandral, Hogan, and Volstagg.
That was a great set of scenes. That sequence.
But it was about a third of the book for what was basically one comic scene.
Yeah. He had to drag it out a little bit because I'm pretty sure he knew he didn't have a whole lot else to work with. And I missed this romance between the Earther and the Asgardian as well. I don't know where that came from. But I'm still going to stick with it. I think JMS, aside from this issue in particular, has got Thor down. I mean, if you want to look through the rest of them, I'll be happy to oblige.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I'm at least curious, but that issue was not a good starting off point.
No. All right, so I'm going to take a quick pause for the cause. So, we're back from a little interlude there.
Let's hear it for
And,
nicotine, boys and girls.
So, I actually found an Ellis book before the Rev did.
And you can keep it.
Ignition City #1. No dice.
You know what? I'm being overly mean, but it is a book where the entire point of it
is
honestly...
Long pause.
A more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I didn't feel connected to anything in that book. There were a couple of neat moments, like when the weird marine laser-toting dude blew some people up.
So you like the violence?
No, not particularly, but it was more interesting. It didn't connect with me on any level, which Ellis does sometimes. Like that strange lizard fucking book that he did.
Yeah, lizards with diarrhea. I can't. That's what he did in this one.
Yep.
Who needs that?
I got to see a lizard shit, which was not what I was looking forward to. But you know what? Fair enough. I would also read the second one. He's creative enough to follow it, but wasn't blown away where I had to read the second one.
Right. So, that leads us to Prelude to Blackest Night. Green Lantern Corps 35. Sinestro's on the cover. Bunch of escapes.
Yeah, that was great,
Some
because
very
Sinestro
crazy
made
stuff.
no appearance in the book.
Yeah, that's one of the things that irritates me. Show me something. You're going to give me something? Give me some Sinestro. And, again, Gleason, kind of concerned about his consistency. Because you give him somebody like Ramatui, or whatever the hell that redskin chick is from Sinestro's planet. And he'll give you a clean character with straight art, very nice lines. You can tell it's a person. And then you'll turn around and you'll get the Daxamite's father, and he'll look like a parody of a ventriloquist dummy.
I didn't have a real problem with the art. Like, consistently, I can tell character to character. He's drawing about 45 different styles and races on any given page, not even in the book. My major issues with this book, and with Green Lantern in general right now, is there's so much going on that nothing's being clear.
Yeah, this is not decompressed storylines. This is multiples.
This is Grant
small
Morrison,
chunks at a
JLA,
time.
beginning to end right there. And I think that I am not entirely... Like, I'm looking forward to seeing the Black Rings, but at the same time, I'm not dying to find out who's what, because it's confusing and I'm not totally enjoying it.
Right. So, I think after Blackest Night, I'm going to have to give that one up.
Well, you know.
Because I
if it
only
goes well.
started it for Blackest Night anyway.
You did totally enjoy Sinestro Corps, though. So
Absolutely.
goes well.
Sinestro Corps War was a phenomenal storyline. I dug the flying fuck out of that. Especially since I got the hardcovers free for Christmas.
There you go. But if Blackest Night goes well, you probably keep going with it.
Well,
It
like
needs
I said,
to find it.
we will see what we see.
That is a book that needs to find its voice without an event, though.
Right. Having established that, Executive Assistant Iris.
That was pointless.
Garbage.
I was really hoping that this was some kind of weird comedy book like Caped or Superhuman Resources, but it's your standard corporate ninja, and that's mildly disappointing. I don't know about garbage, but it's definitely not a whole new take on anything you've ever come across.
Corporate and espionage with superhero ninjas is not my idea of a good time. It was a complete waste of time.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. And I made poor Cabo actually special order this fucking thing. So, I mean, the art was passable, if kind of gritty.
Wasn't badly drawn. I'll give it that.
Yeah, we're done being mean to that one. Superman Batman 58. The microverse stuff again. I'm happy that 59 ended this storyline, because it didn't hit me, and the whole we're small so time goes faster stuff just I couldn't find. Being a semi-scientist,
As I am not.
I couldn't find a physics-based excuse for that. It just didn't fucking work. And you can say all you want, it's a comic. Sure it is. Of course it is. I accept a lot of twacked out shit because it's a comic book. But when you try real hard, like they did, to establish science to any degree, you know, nanites, all that stuff, nano machines working at the submolecular level, you have to start thinking about physics. If you're just making stuff up, then just make stuff up. They shrunk. They're done. Call it even.
That was pointless.
No, but overall, I do like Superman Batman as a title.
I've enjoyed
I
that
have a
book.
lot of fun with it.
And I don't dislike everything about this book. I liked how Batman used Palmer to describe how he was shrinking.
Right.
And comparing the two. I liked the use of the prankster. I hate the idea that somewhere in the prankster's carpet are two warring races of tiny microbite people.
Well, that goes back to that whole stoner thing, you know? Hey, man, how do I know that this whole planet isn't just conceivably electron in some other atom. You want to get the fuck away from me with this kung fu shit? I'm high!
Hey, man. What if dog were spelled C-A-T?
Then it would be fucking cat, alright? I don't remember dropping Trinity off. You weren't supposed to read that. I was going to leave that out of the pile.
Away from me
I totally skipped by that. Anyway, alright, and with the next book, which is probably the single largest stinker in the entire goddamn pile, and I won't be getting any of the others at all. My fanboy completist attitude be damned. Time Storm 2009 2099. I will fight through damn near any book to finish it. I've read all my novels that way. I've only put down 2 or 3 novels in my life without finishing them. I will just work on finishing a comic. I did not finish this fucking comic.
I did finish it, but I can honestly say I read about 1 word and 4 to get through it.
Yeah.
No, I will finish this!
I have no sentimentality to
dookie.
2099.
None.
Don't miss it. Didn't like it. And don't feel the need to revisit it.
Even the David books. My boss gave me a bunch of Spider-Man 2099s by Peter David. You know, I'm a huge Peter David fan. Love most of what he's done throughout his career.
That's true. I've called you a huge Peter for years.
Yes, I'm sure you did. Behind my back, you bastards. So, but I can't read 2099. It was the absolute worst of the mid-90s. I mean, Doom 2099.
I remember being Doom 29 being the high point of the 2099.
Yeah, which says a lot about just how dookie it is.
Yep. Because they make a point of Punisher 2099 being the high point.
Who does?
This book.
Oh, that book, yeah.
And Punisher 2099 is atrocious.
So, we're going to give up on that. Now, one of my current books that makes me very happy, Billy Tucci's Sergeant Rock, The Lost Battalion, number 5. You still not feeling the love on this, or what?
It's a well done book. I like the use of Sergeant Rock in the middle of history and how they bring 2 things together. I like the use of the Bill Malden jokes because it means the guy's been doing his research. The art is excellent, but I don't know, it is too historical to be a full Sergeant Rock comic.
Yeah, I can see that. There's not enough twacked out crazy comic type stuff that just wouldn't have happened in World War II, and then you suddenly take that kind of character and place him into a context of gritty semi-realism, and it's good. I enjoy it, but somehow, like you said, it doesn't exactly quite fit.
It's not quite historical, and it's not quite Sergeant Rock, so I don't know where it falls. But at the same time, it's well done. The art is excellent, so
right.
I can't fault it, but I'm not enjoying it as much as I would have hoped to.
All right.
Like Ennis's Unknown Soldier a couple years ago.
Yeah. So, all right, we're going to have to do more pauses. I didn't have anything for Unknown Soldier, so I just agreed.
You never read that?
No, not that one.
Oh, excellent.
So, Detective Comics, 853, Whatever Happened to the Cape Crusader, 2 of 2. Neil Gaiman. Dig the shit out of Gaiman. Always have. It's I like what they're doing where everybody's telling their different perspectives. But is this really the last Batman story? And are they putting it here now because of Final Crisis, or because...
So he's reborn as Batman?
He's reincarnated in his own body many years ago. So is he in some kind of dharmic cycle that's never going to be broken? It's curious and philosophically irritating at the same time.
did not totally. It's a well-written book. Didn't really enjoy it. If you're going to read Neil Gaiman doing Batman, I would recommend the Secret Origins Annual 1.
Yeah. But, what are you going to do? Amazing Spider-Man by Mark fucking Waid. 24/7. Don't pause like that. Say things. You're going to make me edit. Really? You didn't dig this?
J. Jonah
Jameson as the mayor of New York?
Yeah, that says it all.
Well, what else was he going to do? Everything else, he's stuck. He doesn't have a job. The paper's going down. He had to do something to maintain his existence as a character.
And his J. Jonah Jameson's father?
Yeah, I don't know where he came from because I've been skipping over Amazing for a long time. Because, yes, you can say all you want that there's been fabulous stories, but the sting of Maximum Carnage, the sting of the Clone Saga,
Brand New Day,
the sting of Life Theft, the sting of Brand New Day has just hurt too much. I saw Wade and I'm like, all right, I've been berated for not liking Spider-Man even though I do, so I'm going to give Spider-Man another shot.
And how did you feel about this?
I liked it. I did. I absolutely did. I didn't, however, need Aunt May in the fucking bed. Never again.
I think if anyone needs Aunt May in the bed, it would be you.
Get the fuck out of here. Not listening to you.
No, it was a decent starting off point in that you're curious where it goes. I had not read anything previous, so I couldn't talk about how everything came about. And since so many huge things were happening in that book, it was a detriment.
Alright. So, the final issue of Spider-Man Noir, what do we think here?
It's passable. It's an Elseworlds under a different circumstance.
Right.
Craven being eaten alive by bugs was a little freakish. The Vulture eating people alive was a little freakish. The Green Goblin is a sideshow freak. Like, certain things were done well, certain things were passable, like any other Elseworlds. All in all, it was a decent read.
So,
wouldn't pursue it.
Well, which is fine because that's the last one.
That'll do
so we're not required to. I forgot that I wasn't going to force you into Knights of the Old Republic anymore. So we'll skip over
the
number
Blue
40.
Harvest or
that one right there?
Oh, the weird little.
I don't even know what had they were skirting around. There's a Mandalorian. There's the guy with the artificial.
There's quite a
horns,
bit going on in that book,
and most of it's irritating.
The art is excellent.
Yeah, it is. I just don't get a Star Wars vibe out of this thing.
No, it feels more like Firefly in a weird sense.
To
a team of strangers on a ship floating around.
Yeah, I can see that. I like Legacy a lot better. I mean, at least we know the characters aren't totally from scratch, being Luke's great grandson. Zombies of Mass Destruction. I made the mistake of not grabbing you the others with this. I was certain that I had shown you at least one more. I'm on a big zombie kick right now, so I don't dig this art very much at all.
From what you've told me about the book, there's a clever concept behind it.
Right.
I will say that by just reading number 4, it was not made particularly clear.
I will take the hit on that one. That was my mistake. I thought I hit you up with at least one more. But zombie camels, I'm not happy about those.
That was the highlight for me.
They're worshiping Patient Zero, which is kind of what? I was expecting.
It's definitely a very different take on zombies.
Yeah, well, I was 1 through 3. I was expecting a straight up military adventure, trying to find a weapon gone wrong, who just happened to be the undead. And I was happy looking at it like that. But now that they're worshiping Patient Zero, I've developed big problems with it.
I did like the difference between the U.S. soldiers and the Iraqi soldiers and how both of them dealt with the zombie.
Right. That was intriguing for the most part.
There's some decent writing in there.
Supergirl number 40. Who is Superwoman? Part 4. You hit it last time when we were trying to figure out who Superwoman was. Right?
Who knew?
Yeah, well, I didn't, because I didn't want to believe it was that simple. But occasionally, it's gonna be that simple.
Not loving this book thus far.
No, I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
Guys writing teenage girls is a difficult proposition at best. And creepy at worst.
Well, somebody's got to write it, and there's a distinct lack of female writers who want to write superheroes.
Fair enough.
Now, there are plenty of excellent female writers in comics, but not many of them really want to touch superheroes.
Well, I think a lot of guys, much like a lot of women, can write a decent male character. I think trying to write a teenage girl presents several different problems. Because normally your age is a factor in writing a teenager, and then to throw the sex thing on top of it it makes it more difficult.
Right, I can see that.
The art is good. I think they're doing some interesting things with character in the book, but not a huge fan of Supergirl in the few that I've read.
Now, the last one I dealt with was Peter David's, which,
Didn't understand a lick of.
didn't understand a lick of, but again, they put him on the book, and guess what? It went bye-bye.
And you bought it.
I bought it, and it went bye-bye. We're getting close to the end here. We might have to speed up a little bit, because if we're going to talk about the things that are in the rest of this pile, we could be here all fucking night. What's probably my penultimate Hulk issue, number 11. The Collector, the Grandmaster, the Offenders, the Red Hulk,
And the Defenders.
And a synopsis page we didn't really need. Terrax,
Tiger Shark
with adamantium razor teeth, biting the shit out of Namor like he's a vampire. Baron freaking Mordo.
Love Baron Mordo.
I know you do.
No, I'm actually intrigued by what they're trying to do in the Hulk. I don't entirely understand it.
And this is the second time Dormammu has come up in the back and then wandered off. And who on God's green earth green-lighted using Psycho Man?
I've missed Psycho Man.
You have not missed Psycho Man.
He's psycho, and yet he's man.
Oh, stop that right now.
No,
no one has... When was the last time anybody used Psycho Man for anything? It was Malice in Fantastic Four. What... 15, 17 years ago?
There may have been an appearance in between them, but that's the last one I know of.
Yeah, it's a Fantastic Four villain who is so Kirby-esque you just want to... come on, man.
I like how they tried to bring somebody in to interfere with each battle, and I like what they're trying to do with the different periods of Doctor Strange and Silver Surfer versus the different period of Terrax and whatnot. So there's some clever things going on in the book. And you can't argue the fact that Ed McGuinness was born to draw Hulk.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That I will not debate to any degree at all.
But since I don't know where Red Hulk came from or know anything about it...
Yeah, and it's been 12 issues.
Somewhat confusing. I will say that, based on that book, I'd read the next one, which is all I really ask of any comic.
Well, that's why it's penultimate. But, wow. Psycho Man. I've been reading for 25 years. I might have 3 comics with fucking Psycho Man in it.
Yeah, but my favorite Fantastic Four villain is El Diablo, so Psycho Man fits right in.
But I am having a good time with these little tiny, Kid Hulk, red, blue, green Hulk little vignettes in the back.
Well, that's what you pull away from the book, huh?
Well, it's part of the book. Red Hulk won't come back every Sunday. Cookies. You gotta love a Hulk that loves cookies.
God knows I do.
I mean, when was the last time a green creature loved cookies?
I
Martian
remember the last
Manhunter
time
in
a blue-
JLI.
That was Oreos. That was very specific.
They're cookies. They are cookies. Ed Brubaker's Incognito, number 3.
Moving on very nicely. That's a book I'm totally enjoying.
I'm digging the shit out of this thing, man.
Ed Brubaker knows how to move a book forward, introduce new characters that you're confused by and intrigued by. All in all, excellent book.
Yep.
Wholeheartedly recommended.
They're-
Lots of explosions.
Yes, it's very Michael Bay in that aspect. I love how he's getting irritated more and more with his semi-partner who just wants petty revenge on his landlord.
How he destroys the landlord's car just in the sides is excellent. I mean, that's the thing. Like it's a book that's telling a big story, but the little things are not being missed, and that's a great thing. They introduce a new character who's some sort of female psychopath, and you see for a couple of pages and are intrigued by, and then don't see again.
Yeah.
So your curiosity is perked.
Yep.
You get to see him fight other guys from his own supervillain gang for the first time. So you get a better idea of how he fights and how what sort of grouping he was in. It's an excellent book.
Yep. I'm going to keep going with this one for a while.
Absolutely. And as a result, we have, in the graphic part of our section, ordered The First Criminal, so we can check that out.
Yep. Ready for that one. It's on the way, baby. Now, we heartily disagree with each other on Buck Rogers number 0, because parameciums just are not threatening at all. And somehow, they're taking over.
Yeah. If I got to watch algae fight, I'm all set.
But, I mean, this is apparently the entire ongoing
That's a lot
series.
Of apparentlys.
Seemingly, the ongoing from number 1 Buck Rogers is, from the perspective of number 0, going to be all flashback.
Super.
Unless we can call this one a flash forward.
Yeah, Buck Rogers.
It's a lot like watching Lost.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Buck Rogers is a fertile ground for futuristic sci-fi adventure comics.
Buck Rogers is a paranoid hack from the 60s. Take your Gil Gerard and go.
What?
Done.
60s? What do you...
70s.
What?
Well, the book was the 60s. The friggin' TV show was the 70s.
The book was the 30s. The 20s even, man.
Was it really?
Yeah. Philip Nolan, he was like 29. It was like 1929.
Still atrocious.
I read that thing like 4 times.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I think this thing's got a lot of potential aside from issue 0.
Wow. I didn't enjoy this book, but I'm looking forward to other books that I will not enjoy less than this.
Alright.
Superb.
Fine. Dark Times 13. Star Wars.
Oh, is that the Blue Harvest?
Is it? Yes, this is Blue Harvest. I'm so irritated about Vader still being a fucking wuss.
And pouting.
Yes, a pouting wuss behind his big black mask.
Did not really care for this book, but I'm kind of intrigued where it's going.
Please turn him into a fucking badass sometime soon. I'd really like to get it over with and have him be a badass.
The older Jedi is an interesting character, and the gun versus sword world.
Right.
I mean, there were some well done things, but I'm really not enjoying any of the Star Wars comics, so I can't say I loved it, but I will definitely read the next one in curiosity as to where the storyline is going.
Alright, so we'll leave out Knights of the Old Republic, and we'll definitely stick with Dark Times if it ever comes out again, because I think 12 was a good at least 3 months ago.
Yeah, I would finish the Blue Harvest series. I don't know if I'd read beyond that.
Yes. We'll work with that. Now, this one confuses the shit out of you because you haven't watched anything beyond, what, the movie, the miniseries of BSG?
I'm not even sure I saw the complete miniseries. I saw a couple episodes of the first series.
Alright. So, Battlestar Galactica, the Final 5. This one's all about me. I was totally confused by what's going on in this goddamn
Oh,
book.
so apparently it's not totally about you, because I was totally confused.
Well, I mean, I was confused because I knew what was established. I don't know who any of these characters are or why they're remotely important to Battlestar Galactica itself. And the time frame of 4,000 years prior to when kind of blew me away. And I don't know, Dynamite is usually much better about this. 4,000 years ago, they say in the panel, and I gotta assume that that's 4,000 years prior to the times of the TV series, which would be fine, but I still don't know why people are killing each other, who is who, why that face is drawn so horribly.
Other than basic grammar, I took nothing away from that book. Like, that sentence I understood. That was about it.
So, because it doesn't seem like this can't be the revolution now. It's 4,000 years ago. The continuity of the books versus the TV show is totally fucking with my head, and I can't really deal with it very well. War of Kings, number 2.
Bitch.
You know, folks, it seems like we're hating every last fucking thing. It's just a bad batch this time around. It's not. We are reading every one of them. We're not prejudging any of them. Because I know that someone's going to come around and say, well, goddamn, guys, you must hate every damn thing. What do you like?
I like
We like a
many
lot
things.
of stuff.
None of the things I like have the Starjammers in them, however.
We do like a whole lot of comic books. Been doing it for 25 years. You can't hate everything and spend that kind of money for that length of time. Many people have called me an idiot about many things, but that would be an idiot of monumental proportions along the lines of, say, fucking Bush.
There you go.
But it's just a bad batch. We had some real weird ones in here trying to branch out and find different stuff to like, but you can't tell you like it till you read it. And if you read it and you hate it, it's not hating on comics, it's hating that book. Right? Am I right?
No, you just
I'm
hate
fucking
everything.
right here. You know what? Fuck you too.
No, War of the Kings started off poorly and has devolved worse. I am not interested in the Inhumans. I could care less about Starjammers. I kind of thought Lilandra was dead before I read this book.
I was pretty sure she was dead before this book. I don't really see why this book needs to exist to begin with.
The only thing that I am intrigued by in the book is the Kree Inhuman matchup and where they're going with that.
You know, there are some interesting political ramifications that could come from that, but I still don't see where it needs to fit in the greater Marvel pantheon. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not dying to see it. But then the last time the Kree were around, they got slaughtered by Wonder Man. So, I mean, really,
How much of a
marrying
threat
up
are the Kree really?
Ronan the Accused, now to be known as Ronan the Charbroiled after this issue.
Super Zombies, number 2.
You're a cocksucker.
Another Dynamite book. We're trying to steer away from the big two and see what everybody else has to say.
We couldn't get The Boys or
But it's-
Lone Ranger.
I think that it's books like this that make the big two the big two.
Yeah,
You know?
I felt like reading Teen Titans after reading this piece of garbage.
And I hate Teen Titans. And I'm right along with you. No, I don't hate Teen Titans. Don't say, oh fuck man, Jedi's fucking hating again. I don't hate them. They just don't hold interest for me. It's just funnier to say, I hate Teen Titans.
Yeah, Super Zombies on the other
Just
hand.
the sentence itself, I hate Teen Titans. That has a small but noticeable comedic value to it.
Well, you do hate teenagers.
I hate Teen Titans. You gotta figure if I hate teens, then Titan-type teens would be just as hateable.
And I've watched you read Roman mythology and you hate Titans, so I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, there you go. Super Zombies. Where the fuck do we start with this thing?
Not one character in that book is interesting.
Not a one. Even the three girls that look alike, and I'm normally a big fan of triplets, but no. I'm putting out the effort here, man. I'm putting out the money. I'm giving things their fair shake.
Nope.
And I'm just not getting anything back
Honestly,
out of it.
Super Zombies is a poor attempt to rip off Marvel Zombies.
Yeah, almost
which is
certainly.
a limited idea to begin with.
And how did they get 4 series out of that? Wouldn't 2 have been enough?
Having not read one, I can't count.
Well,
But
throw
Super
that
Zombies
one aside.
is...
Get rid of that. Bye. Special issue, 70th anniversary. They've even got it labeled Timely Comics. Submariner Comics #1. Wow. How do you do, Loretta?
I will say that I really enjoyed the part where he was identified in the German bar by the wings on his feet.
That's what you get for not wearing socks.
No, I like the whole retro idea. There's also, I believe, a Captain America of the same line in there.
Yep, absolutely.
And I like the idea that they're reprinting older stories while doing new ones, but just because something was popular in the 40s does not mean that I need to read it now.
Right.
And Submariner would fall most definitively into that category.
I would have worked just as effectively with straight-up reprints.
Well, my other problem with this is that I'm in the same batch. I'm reading in the Avengers how Submariner is in the Alliance of Evil with Loki and...
the Cabal.
Thank you. Doom and...
Emma Frost and Norman
Whatever.
Osborn.
And then suddenly I have a book here which is telling me about the heroic efforts of the petulant and childish Namor, who would destroy Nazis when he didn't feel like joining them. Nah, I'm not a huge fan of that book.
I'd have liked it better if I didn't have to pay for it. Captain America 49. Captain America, man. Fucking Brubaker. How do you get a whole lot better than Brubaker?
I like where Brubaker's going in the story. This was interesting with the Sharon versus Peggy Carter.
Right.
Well, honestly, my problem with the book is that I'm waiting for either Cap to show up or for them to just be done with Cap, and they're floating in the middle.
Yeah.
Now, Sharon Carter was revealing about a pregnancy issue,
Right.
and a new body scar that she suddenly noticed.
Yeah, that concerned me greatly. When the hell did that happen? Why did it happen? Who's got the fucking fetus if it's still viable?
Exactly. And plus, I've hurt myself a lot. I've missed the occasional scar I've earned on the arm or whatnot. But if somebody were to open me up in the belly, C-section me, and then sew it back up...
That's not something you skip.
Yeah, I'd probably catch that the first time I showered.
Alright. I was not happy with the art for Captain America Comics, Timely Comics 70th Anniversary issue #1. But
More retro.
It's very retro. It was almost haltingly retro. And I know Steve Rogers was supposed to be a scrawny little, schmuck, but who was very earnest, but I really don't need him looking like an Ethiopian.
No, he was tiny. Like
but look in this panel up on here on the second page, he's like 7 feet tall and 2 inches wide. That's a whole new definition of beanpole. And I didn't need him being that skinny.
I also didn't even mean that heroic before. I have no problem with the idea of it, but he couldn't, here he is jumping off of trains and fighting Nazi agents beforehand.
Yeah, where would he get that kind of stamina from that wiry frame? I don't know about that. Had a hard time.
Again, it was a nice concept, didn't love it.
But I did like this huge double-page spread here with them jumping out the airplane. That's a good picture, right? Yeah. Almost time to go, folks. We're almost out of here. That's it for the single issues for that pile. So we're going to talk about Captain America Red Menace, which is, oddly enough, Brubaker again. And it covers the 65th anniversary special. and some other stuff in there. It's kind of weird the way they're marketing the trades on Captain America. They're doing volumes of arcs. So each arc gets another volume 1, and that's just going to confuse the shit out of me, because I'm going to have to very specifically look at each book to find out which issues it contains. Like, this one is 15, 16, 17, and the 65th anniversary special. So, this is the one where I had gotten that extra cheap comic that had Sin's return and re-brainwashing, or
with Crossbones,
or deprogramming with Crossbones. And
no, it was a fun book. I love
yeah.
Brubaker on Cap, and I find what he does intriguing. I wasn't missing Sin particularly, or any further Mother Night stories, but her slight Nazi origin was intriguing there. I like what he's doing, and I enjoyed that book. And then the follow-up is the introduction to the Winter Soldier, so...
And AIM. Who doesn't like AIM?
They've got giant yellow tracksuits. What could be better?
And these aren't reprints. These are new, but they're very retro in feel with the backup stories there. The history lesson. Two-pronged attack. Da-da-da. Very Kelly's Heroes there. But
Negative waves, Moriarty. Nothing but negative waves.
So that's that one. And then, bang on to Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier is an excellent storyline.
Collecting Cap 8 and 9, 11, 12, 13, and 14.
Oh, so that came before the other one.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's split between them. So, which is why it's confusing that this is Volume 2 and that one was 1, when this one is split between them. But they broke the rule, man. Only Bucky stays dead no longer applies.
Broke your heart.
They did! I was irritated by this. So,
I think the Winter Soldier is an excellent storyline. I think as much as...
which is funny, because when I first broached to you the concept of the Winter Soldier, you were so irritated you didn't know what the fuck to say.
That is true. You are absolutely right. Bucky staying dead is of a certain relative importance, I'm not going to lie. But reading the storyline, seeing how they did it, I was impressed.
Yeah, the execution was everything, and it totally made it work.
And now knowing, even, looking backwards, that they were planning to kill Cap while they were doing all this,
right?
Put Bucky in that role. I mean, it's just a well-done storyline. Brubaker is a great writer.
Yeah, it's nice when you can get a feeling that there's a greater plan to what's going on, instead of just, you know what? What if we ended Civil War with Cap dying in 23? Wouldn't that be a great idea? That's not what Brubaker had in his head.
No. I mean, it's
and that's somewhat comforting to know
yeah.
that a writer has, a if not a grand scheme, then a large-scale time frame and concept of what he wants to accomplish. Alright, so we took a little pause here, and we've come to the conclusion that 11:15 at night is a little too late to be dealing with a huge batch of incredibly bad books, and 4 or 5 beers in is an even worse time late at night to be dealing with a bad batch of books. So, we're going to save 3 other graphics, 3 other trades for later. I'm going to come back to them. We're going to have another pile. We're going to see what shakes loose. Any closing thoughts on this big batch there, Bubba? Aside from the fact that 80% of it was dookie?
There's a lot of stuff out there that I want to see resolved and move forward.
Right.
which is not as good as wanting to see what happens next. So, from a writing standpoint, I'm not as captivated by a lot of these books as I'd like to be, which is disappointing.
Too true. Too true.
And some things just suck.
Yeah, some things just... Again, there's elements out there that are like, it's comics, it has to be great because we love comics. And I just can't agree with that. You give them their shot, you give them their due time, you give them a read-through after you've paid for it, and then you decide that it's crap. And that's what we're doing. I'm not going to go on any forum with a concept and say, that's total shit, and then not buy it before I even give it a shot. At very least, I will sit in the shop and read the damn thing and then decide to buy it. Which is still kind of cheating a little bit.
Just a tad.
But if I liked it, then the guy got my money anyway. And it's a win-win. And if I didn't like it, then I walk away irritated, and he doesn't get a paycheck for my irritation. So, from my side, it's a win, irritation, lose.
You're a weird, weird man.
Yes, I absolutely am.
All right, so real quick, just to make sure that we maintain our particular status as enjoying ourselves, it's top 5 time.
Oh, which top 5 you got?
Give me your top 5.
There's always a lot of thought I need to put into these things.
Superman villains.
Well, Lex is the only one that really ever gives him a real good go. So Lex is going to be number 1.
It's a given.
Mongol really irritates the shit out of Superman, and I find that amusing. And plus, he never gives up.
And he's yellow.
He's yellow, and he gets the complete smackdown every fucking time he comes to Earth, and he doesn't give up. He's like the Energizer Bunny of loser supervillains. And that pleases me to a great degree.
Alright, so that's 2.
I almost wanted to say Toyman, because it's always funny when he shows up. It's not necessarily a great story when he shows up, but it can be fun. So that I'm gonna put Toyman.
All right, Toyman.
Not so much the prankster.
Love the prankster.
Yeah, you're welcome to the prankster, but he's not mine. Bizarro is a tragicomic character for me. It's usually a good time when he shows up.
Yeah, I believe
Most
you have
of the time.
Bizarro World.
I do.
As a result of me in your collection.
And I didn't have a bad time with that at all. But how many other true villains can you put in a top 5 for Superman? No.
Well, what's that? You got with Bizarro, you're at 4.
Yeah.
You need one more.
And well, I mean, Mixie Pitalik. What is he? Eastern European, for fuck's sake? Where are the vowels in this guy's name?
What? Y can be a vowel. Ask around.
Mixtipitalik.
There you go.
Fine, Mixtipitalik.
All right, dude. I'm
What?
about to slap you with some knowledge, sir.
Oh, he's dropping knowledge.
You skip Metallo.
Metallo,
Dude, no. And you skip Brainiac.
Brainiac. 1 through 12.
Hey, you want sequels? Deal with it, all right? You're missing 2 big ones.
Brainiac 1 through 12.
You're
All
a
right, we'll
bitch.
deal
Give
with
me
him.
my top 5. What do you got?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot, man. God damn. Your top 5 is, and this can include any storyline anywhere. Top 5 JLA stories.
All right, top 5 JLA stories. Let's go with Mark Waid's.
Mark Waid's.
Fuck, what was the name of the villain? When Batman's files get stolen. Yeah, excellent read.
Yeah. Very good, very good. Prior to OMAC.
Absolutely. Booster Gold and Blue Beetle open their resort, Fantasy Island.
Yeah.
Cooey, cooey, cooey. And there's an ladies and gentlemen. We know how you love the
Cooey, cooey, gooey.
JLA storylines.
You can go back to the 60s with this if you want.
I'm trying. I think we're going to have to go with the wizard and his friends stole the identities of the JLA. An issue I actually gave you.
Yep. I remember that.
I believe when the Injustice League took over Justice League Antarctica.
That's right.
And then my single favorite issue of any comic book ever, Justice League Europe 6, when the JL Europe and the Injustice League went to French class together.
That's awesome.
If you have not read that, boys and girls,
perfect.
I wholeheartedly recommend that.
Stuff. Giffen is a comedy fucking genius.
That is a great read from
Which
beginning
reminds
to
me, I got a
end.
little surprise in there for you.
Oh yeah, what's up?
Got a little surprise in that box.
Uh-oh.
It took almost a year, but I got it. It's still not done yet. I'm gonna find the rest of them for you.
I am totally petrified by this conversation.
No, you're gonna dig it. Ambush Bug Year None 2 and 3.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Love me some Ambush Bug because I'm that guy.
Right. So, what did we come away with this night? I've made some terrible purchasing errors lately. There are some things that are always going to be good. There are some things that are going to disappoint you occasionally, and there are some things you should never fucking bother picking up. And I make bad decisions. I make bad decisions.
But kids, that's what's going to happen. You know, going out there with comicdom, you have to expect that sometimes you're going to recommend or risk something, and it's not going to work out. It's the nature of the beast, and you have to deal with that.
Yep.
If you're a comic fan in your collection somewhere, it's something that you bought and had to pretend to all your friends you really liked because it was sitting there.
Well, on that note, it's time to say Auf Wiedersehen, and
Good night, everybody.
Fuck